Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. It's a Sunday at about almost 2 p.m. I had a rather peculiar dream last night, at least semi-peculiar. Just let you know what's going on here. This one, I think I might have had a somewhat similar dream in the past about a family vacation. This one was a little different. Um, and just kind of maybe something about this relates somewhat to um, recent vacations, perhaps, at least in the past. So, yeah. So, okay, boy. So, anyway, I think studying dreams is definitely a hobby of mine at this point. Although I'm a little bit very critical of a lot of different ways of evaluating dreams for various reasons. But so I think toward the beginning of this dream, um, there was some. Well, my whole family, my own. I mean, my parents and all my siblings and all their kids. I mean, we were playing. We were staying at this. Oh yeah, it was a um, one of the hotels that my dad had some kind of timeshare with, and at least well, I think I'd been in two different locations, but um, come to think of it, actually, I can mention some bits of another dream I'd had last night too. Usually, don't have that much memory of these things, but I can do that. So, where again, the hotel I remember more, I guess, was near a lake, and um, sometimes I just get bored of being in a lake all day. It just all depends. I mean, not the biggest fan of always swimming in the lake or whatever, doing stuff on the lake. I like to do other things sometimes. So, um, anyway, so I think when I was there, I was spending a fair amount of time uh, in the actual room we had at the timeshare near this lake, just eating and watching TV. Not TV, just eating or just doing creative things like I usually often do. And so, for some reason, there was this older guy that would take care of the place that for some reason was there when I was there. Of course, you would have housekeeping, not have conversations with guests, but in my dream, okay, I guess it was the case. It was fine, which is different. So this guy was, pretty okay, pretty nice to talk to. Um, and I vaguely remember, I vaguely remember him having some. Okay, yeah, this is the weird part. So this older man I was talking to, I guess, apparently was a bit of a pedophile. Yeah. So um, nothing happened, I don't think. But in all of my all of my brothers and sisters' kids were always away from the cabin when this guy would come. But oh, it was weird. The thing is, I think in this dream, this is a dream. Okay, my we ended up um, discovering this somehow that he was like this way. My dad did or something, and so I think we got this guy tossed out, fired. Um, but also, this was toward the end of being there, and this old man would have a lot of junk food he brought with him. Or at least some of it was, yeah, it was very just donuts and things. I don't know, and snacky stuff. And so I was eating some of that stuff, and because he was fired, and because he was, well, I was like, the thing is that my family kind of mostly brought really healthy stuff. Really, so again, it's because the food. Although I mean, if this guy was kind of a creep, I would probably not want to eat any of that stuff anyway. But dreams are different, I guess. But I was like, so I guess we had all this food that he didn't pick up, and the family's like, well, let's just toss it. Let's just throw it in the garbage. Like, oh man, but maybe there's a donut or two that's perfectly good, but maybe I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure at the time that he really was a pedophile, or something like that. So I was like, "Are you sure? He seems so nice to me, right?" So it's a little bit funny now I think about it. Of course, again, folks, this is a dream. It makes it all the more interesting, and like there's nothing serious about this kind of stuff. It's it's a dream. All right, nothing really happened bad here. So anyway, but we have to end up leaving, and we have all this good food. I think I had some cereal that was more sugary. I don't eat anyway, but So anyway, so I woke up from that dream thinking, well, there was nothing that was wasted or thrown away that was whole food that was really good, which is nice. No meat, no grapes, no really tasty stuff that was really had more nutritional. Well, had more was real food, I guess. Nothing like that was brought over or wasted. But maybe one additional thought I had was it's always good to kind of just keep one's wits about yourself with that subject, because I think when it comes to anybody younger than anybody younger than 16, thereabouts, maybe sometimes a little older, sometimes it's a little younger, but yeah, 16, 17, maybe 18. You make the call, but anybody younger than that, depending on the kid, of course, some kids are very resilient and maybe go talk to their parents quicker than some. But it's true, you don't. Okay. I mentioned this was just a dream. I wasn't. It's nothing really. But now that I'm thinking about the subject, to be honest, in terms of I would think an adult that has their head on straight and things are okay with them in this regard. Adults, many adults. Well, let's say there's a lot of different sorts of feelings that adults have toward kids, right? Sometimes it's revulsion, right? Sometimes like, oh, right? That noisy, cantankerous, just loud and bratty. Some adults can't stand kids. Right? Other adults are quite fond of nice kids, right? Or kids in general, and just kind of keep their socializing with them within normal bounds, right? Preferring to maybe see or say hi to the kids when their parents are there. If you have adult babysitters, you can have daycare workers. You have the sorts that maybe tend to be more women a lot of times that will spend more extended periods of time with kids. but they there's other folks, including so I teach private lessons, of course, but there are people. We all go through background checks and anybody who works with kids, right? Anybody whose job involves kids, like school teachers, for instance, and there's a bunch of other kinds of things like that. We all go through background checks and that sort of thing, so that parents don't have to feel like whoa, ever, but there's all kinds of that's the thing. There's all kinds of different ways of there's psychology, there's spiritual things involved here, morality, and sort of thing. And so with the adult world and even for older teenagers, kind of maybe that might even prey on kids. There's a very small percentage of even older teenagers that might do that. Or heck, we won't get to that. But I know I've heard of those stories of. So, I try to keep this because I didn't want to talk about this too much, but it's very very difficult to accurately, with any accuracy, pinpoint if somebody is this way, being a pedophile. So it sometimes comes down to you have to have someone who is of a certain age, probably most likely 20s, 30s, above. Occasionally, you can have a very more aware older teen, 18, 19, that catch on to these kinds of behaviors, like spending excessive time with one kid, giving him lots of things, lots of presents, and asking funny questions. That asking funny questions thing, because presents in themselves are fine. They're fine. It's more a question of the kinds of questions that eventually as a this is sick as a real life pedophile would kind of groom a kid. It's the kinds of questions that are increasingly more personal, sexual nature. And if those questions are ever asked, boom, that's serious, right? That's game on, right? That's boom, absolutely, that guy is probably a pedophile. But the presence thing, that's kind of you just have very generous older folks, and so that's where I think a lot of people can get it wrong. Case in point, again, I know, sorry about this. I'll mention another dream here in a sec, but case in point, there's a gentleman who I found of his YouTube channel who kind of felt bad for a little kid in a store, and you guys can look at this if you want to, but it doesn't matter what his name is. But yeah, just famous YouTube personality had compassion for a boy, and this boy wanted a squirt gun, and his parents were elsewhere, and he wasn't, so he told the boy, trying to be nice to him, I don't know if your parents would want you to have a squirt gun, but if you get one for you, you need to keep the receipt and then ask your parents if it's okay. So then he bought the squirt gun for the boy, right? And then he went to the parents and said, hey, how's it going? Your boy just wanted this a squirt gun. I gave it to him. If you don't want it, that's okay, but it's okay. It's on me. So they thanked the gentleman and decided to maybe keep the squirt gun, but the dad had a little talking to with the son. Said, you don't go up to strangers. Well, it wasn't quite that bad, right? It wasn't quite that bad. It was just, in that case, so nothing, it was fine. We all, I knew that the gentleman that bought the gun was a good guy. He was a very good guy, of course. So presents are, again, my dream, all I remember was this old guy talking to me about all kinds of stuff. And I was like, I thought he was, a perfectly fine guy. But yeah, I guess he was a little sketchy toward the end of my dream. So, again, don't misunderstand me. I've mentioned this before, again and again. This is all in a dream, right? Everything that I'm talking about, this old man, this is just happened in a dream. That nothing happened in real life. So don't make more of it than it really is, okay? So, yeah, a little bit interesting. Another dream I had involved, I think, an old roommate of mine um, last night. An old roommate of mine, and I just had some. It was just kind of we were just talking. Had some recollections of him. He was always very shy, and socially more awkward. A little bit like myself, but he, yeah, I haven't seen him for a long time. I've tried to have some kind of contact with him, or just get in touch with him somehow. But I don't know. He's for whatever reason he just hasn't responded. And I know I know things are great. You know, things well with me, of course, still. But it's just again that anxiety that can kind of. Some people have a good deal of social anxiety, and you can try to treat it. You can try to think it's um, somehow um, morally somehow bad, even maybe a little bit, but of course it isn't. But yeah, it's a kind of you know, some people are very anxious if they haven't talked to someone for a long time, or at least a little while. They're very anxious about talking to someone again. And I would say I would apply to both myself and this other roommate I've had. But it was just great. I can't remember as much about this dream, but it was, something, it's always where we were living was a little different. Some things about the dream had something to do with food, but yeah, also some maybe other folks that lived at the same place we were at that might have been a little bit more on the wild side. I don't remember that happening, but it's always creeps into some of these dreams. So anyway, leave me your thoughts and comments below. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye.